30 seconds and counting. 25 seconds and counting. We are still go. 20 seconds. Guidance alert. The guidance system now going internal. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening to my viewers in Europe and Africa. Good afternoon to my viewers in the Western Hemisphere. Good early morning, I believe, to my viewers in the Pacific Rim. Welcome to the Angry Astronauts. We have a different sort of topic tonight, and I've done these a couple of times in the history of the channel, a Lego unbox and build, although I have to admit I've already done the unboxing simply because I felt that I would have to get at least some of this done before I got started tonight. But before we get going, let's go ahead and see where everybody's checking in from. We got 56 people already. Thanks very much. Really appreciate you guys. And thanks very much. I appreciate stuff people are saying. Like I said, it was on a wild whim that I just decided, you know what? I'm tired of having gray in my hair. I'm going to get rid of it for a while and see what that does. Hello, Carl. Thank you very much for joining us, Moheim on Ruhr. We also have Four Marks UK in Arnold's Cove, Newfoundland and Labrador. Hello, Florida. Hello, Birmingham, UK and New Jersey. We also have Friesland in the Netherlands. We also have Yorkshire. Hello. And we have another Space Nut who also is in Yorkshire. Hello, Enfield, London. From the south. Hello, Milan, Italy. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's see, where else? We've got Toronto, Canada. Hello. And we have Kent in the UK. And we also have Orlando, Florida. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. And we are, hello, Finland. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you joining us. And hello, Jamie. Thank you for joining us from East Devon, UK. Very fond of Devon, always have been. Of course, it is where Goonhilly is, which I think is was where Jamie is as well, or some of the time anyway. Hello, Ohio and South Carolina and Melbourne. Hello. And we also have upstate New York. Anton Nim, of course, checking in. And we have North Wales and John Morgan. Thank you so much for the tenor. Really do appreciate it. And I am going to be coming to you live for a while tonight because once again, I find myself in a situation to where I have a very important trip coming up. And this time I want to do it right. And when I say doing it right, it means that I want to bring a cameraman, namely ASN in Yorkshire. Now, fortunately, we're not going terribly far as, we're not flying transatlantic or anything like that, but then the transportation is still not going to be ridiculously cheap because we're headed to Shetland. And we're going to be going to Shetland in July in order to cover the upcoming Saxavord launch. There are many ways to support this. It can be supported. The best way is the Patreon way. If you're not a Patreon member, please consider becoming a Patreon member because obviously that's a repeating source of support. And so it will add up between now and July, and that support will make the biggest splash. Not only that, also Patreon takes anywhere from 8 to 12% of the money that you give. Whereas if you do the super chats, which by the way, they're still very helpful, super chats and YouTube membership, all that, but YouTube sucks 30% of that away. 30% of your money goes to YouTube if you contribute that way. Whereas on the Patreon side, that contribution only between 8 to 12% goes to Patreon, so a very large percentage. Or PayPal, if you're already a Patreon member, PayPal's the other way to do it. And I'm actually going to keep a running tally on how things are going tonight. And once again, you guys have already done a lot for this channel. There's no doubt about that. I really, really appreciate everything that you do. And, but nevertheless, in order to get there to cover the launch of the RFA1, in order to accomplish that, that's what's going to be necessary tonight until we hit that 1% threshold on Patreon. Once we're there, 1%, then it doesn't matter. I will never have to do this ever again. So obviously that's the main thing that we're trying to get to. All right, that's enough talking about that nonsense. Let's go ahead and talk about SLS, or rather the SLS Lego set. So I've started to unbox the this, and it is a nightmare, let me tell you. Okay, here is, and those of you who are familiar with NASA Lego kits, you should know how this works. This is the assembly booklet. It is just enormous, okay? And so what I suspected was going to happen, and what I decided to do, was to go ahead and restrict what I was going to be working on tonight to the rocket itself and not to the mobile launch tower, because I got started on the mobile launch tower kind of early on, and I'm sure it's just going to fall apart while I'm holding it. But this is what I've managed to build so far of the mobile launch tower, and there is a whole lot more to be built as far as that's concerned. The mobile launch tower, I think, is probably the most complicated part of this assembly. And yes, go ahead. Good suggestion, producer, but I don't think I have the battery left on my cell phone to do that. Otherwise, I think that would be a great idea. Sorry, we had a suggestion from the producer to use my cell phone as a second camera to show another perspective. Sadly, the battery power that's on my cell phone right now is not really accommodated to filming. So sorry about that. And then in addition to that, the internet server here has been very hostile towards my cell phone lately for some reason, probably because it accesses the transmitter on a regular basis. So it's not even going to be able to maintain a constant internet connection. It'll be a challenge. So really, I don't want to put you guys through that tonight. Good idea though, producer. We'll definitely work on doing that next time. So in any event, all the links, by the way, for the PayPal, Patreon, etc., all that's in the description if you want to go ahead and look at supporting the RFA launch there. So we got 76 people joining us. Is we are going to move on to the rocket. The rocket, I think we will be able to get a lot more bang for our buck, a lot more bang for the time invested if we proceed with the rocket. Once again, this is the only progress I've made on the mobile launch tower, and now I'm going to go ahead and relocate the mobile launch tower, probably break it in the process of trying to move it here, and then we'll get the rocket going. All right, I'm going to put it somewhere safer. All right, guys. So we have we've relocated the mobile launch tower, and now we're going to proceed to, just to give you an idea of how incredibly complicated this damn thing is. It is every bit as formidable as any of the other Lego projects that I have undertaken. I mean, the most difficult of them. It's step 430 7 that we are moving on to right now. Step 437 to get to the rocket is steps 1 through 436. Go ahead, please, producer. All right. So what we got right now is step 437. And we are going to go ahead and start the assembly. Now, once again, if you guys are looking for a detailed, challenging Lego project, well, this is the SLS rocket is indeed all of that. The mobile launch tower, as I mentioned before, is just insanely complicated. Lego Artemis kit come with a broken heat shield. It does come with an Orion. The Orion is not terribly detailed simply because the Orion is so small compared to the rocket. And yeah, no broken heat shield included, unfortunately. Let's hope that the damage to the heat shield can just be repaired, patched up, whatever, that isn't too horribly damaged. One thing we need to keep in mind, though, is lest any of us become a little too cocky about any of the alternatives to Orion or alternatives to SLS. It's worth it to keep in mind that the heat shield on the Crew Dragon is ablative. Every time that thing re-enters the atmosphere, they have to essentially install more ablative heat shield material on the bottom of the capsule in order to reuse it. It is not a reusable heat shield. Every heat shield that's ever been used, if it's not ablative, requires tremendous amounts of work in between launches. At least thus far, nobody has ever been able to master a heat shield, a reusable heat shield that can be used for another launch in anything quicker than 56 days. That's the fastest that NASA turned the space shuttle around. And obviously, the Starship heat shield has yet to work properly. Then again, it hasn't really had much of a chance to work. So that's definitely, in order to be fair, obviously, we need to keep that in mind. So to get started here, we have a couple of very simple little components. Component 1 and component 2. And by the way, I'll be talking to you about SLS as I proceed with this process. Let's see here. So we got that. And then they have these nice little orange components here. I'll show it to you here in just a second. They have lots of these suckers, these curved orange components. Obviously, the reason they're doing that is because because of the big orange rocket. So you got that as well. And by the way, the reason that the space shuttle tank went from white to orange, for those of you who are old enough to remember that the Columbia started out with a white fuel tank before it moved on to an orange fuel tank, is they used to paint the fuel tank, the hydrogen fuel tank. And then they determined that the paint that they were using really wasn't serving any sort of useful purpose and weighed about 100 tons worth of paint. And there was just no point in doing that. So they stopped using the paint and just decided to use the orange insulation material. Antonym, my brother and I are ex-Army. We send a Memorial Weekend shout out to our brothers and sisters in the armed forces all over. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate that. And yes, indeed, Rachel, thank you. Rachel already got the jump on us, telling us what as to why there was a change in the appearance. So let's go ahead and continue our assembly. So we got one of these lengthy pieces. By the way, I have no idea how all these are going to fit together in the long run, but we're just going to go ahead and get started. This is obviously part of the fuel tank. And by the way, as we continue with this assembly, I'm also going to give you some facts on the SLS. For those of you who've been watching my channel from the beginning, or for a very long time. You will recall that I was very, very hard on the SLS, and for good reason. It's ridiculously expensive. It's outdated in terms of being an expendable system. We don't need expendable rockets anymore. We need reusable rockets, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was very, very harsh on this thing for a long period of time. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a fan of the big orange rocket all of a sudden now, because I'm not. I still absolutely feel that it needs to be replaced. But where my views started to change a little bit is when I started to see some things happen with this rocket in person. For example, I went to go see the Green Run. For those of you who remember that broadcast, that was a bit of a nightmare as I tried to make that happen. But anyway, seeing the Green Run happen and all of those engines lighting up and burning for all that time and creating artificial rainstorms, which apparently, if the wind is blowing just right, those will come over to a nearby airport and start a big thunderstorm, like right over the airport. It's kind of crazy from all of obviously the hydrogen and oxygen mixing together, creating lots and lots of water vapor. It's just kind of nuts. So in any event, after seeing that happen, I mean, that was impressive. However, after the Green Run, there was a long series again of delays, of hydrogen leaks and stuff like that really created a lot more frustration. I really began to wonder as to whether or not the rocket was ever going to lift off. I became sort of convinced that even if it did lift off, it might explode on the way up, or it might encounter some sort of real significant technical problem, especially given all the issues that Boeing had experienced with Starliner, and continues to, by the way. I mean, that thing's just continues to be an ongoing disaster. And yet, interestingly enough, to my great surprise, and frankly, I was pretty happy about it. It worked. How about that, right? It's kind of shocking. It actually worked. Here, pardon me, I'm getting my thoughts together here and making sure that this is all. I almost always make mistakes with this stuff eventually, and then I end up having to rip it all apart. So far, though, the orange tank, little segment of it here, it's starting to take shape. So do the best we can with it. All right, so let's go ahead and continue with the assembly of the orange tank. So after the successful launch and after Orion, I mean, yeah, there's been some issues that we've discovered in the aftermath, but when it comes right down to it, regardless of the problems that happened during that launch. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Repeat, producer. Thank you. Okay. So as the, let's see, we've got 1, 2, I need to make sure that we get, okay. So, as the as the flight continued, and even in the aftermath, when we've discovered that there have been a few problems, overall, it was very successful for a first flight of a brand new rocket. And I have to admit, that kind of impressed me. Yeah, I didn't expect to see SLS do that well right off the bat. Does that mean that it's the rocket of the future? No, absolutely not. We still need to replace it. There's no question about that. It's still an outdated concept, but nevertheless, I couldn't help but be a little bit impressed. Any rocket that can send that heavy of a payload and a human rated payload all the way to the moon, and for that payload to come back successfully and safely, not too bad, really. pretty impressive. By the way, once again, to reiterate, tonight we are attempting to raise funds for Saxavord. So in any event, I want to go ahead and I'm just going to do a quick check here to see if any contributions have come in over the Patreon side or the PayPal side. And once again, please don't feel obligated or anything like that. We are just trying to get some forward momentum on this because it is going to be important, especially since I'm trying to bring my producer as well. I think that's very important that we have it's very important that we have a cameraman, and also he has a Starlink now, and we want to. And by the way, a Starlink that we need to pay back on. So in any event, it will be very, very helpful indeed. Oh, show my hands a bit more? Sure, absolutely. I will go ahead and. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yes. There we go. How about that? All right, bear with me for just a second here. I'm just getting an update because I think something may have come in while I've been talking. And so I just want to have a look here just to confirm. Yes, indeed. We have a $10 contribution. Thank you so much. And let's see, that came in from James Larson. Thank you so much, James, for your support. So once again, if you want to contribute to this upcoming trip to Saxavord, to Shetland, all the details in the description, the Patreon, PayPal, etc. And by the way, I also just released my second Patreon exclusive video today, this one about nuclear rockets. And so if you have an interest in that too, you can become a Patreon member and there are new benefits that I'm offering that I didn't offer before. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with the building process here. All right, next up we have, let's see, some more. Do we have some? All right, we have more components. So, oh, wait a minute here. Something doesn't look right. I don't like how that looks. Let's see. No, that goes like so. And that's like that. Okay, so that's all lined up there. So what? Oh, okay. I see what it is. I see what it is. Okay. So what we need to do is get a couple more of these curved orange components here. And let's see, that's not the right one. Curved orange components. I know that there's one more of these. Yeah, there we go. So that needs to be added on. And by the way, I am far from an expert on these things. For those who are familiar with Lego builds and do them all the time, I'm certainly not one of those people. I'm not. I don't do tons and tons of Lego builds continuously. So there we go. All right. So here's our progress. And then we need to cover this up, I believe. Yeah, we need to cover this up with two more curved components, which I hope we've got those here. There's one. So this part, the fuel tank, is starting to take shape. Now, obviously, this is going to go elsewhere. This is a much brighter curved piece. Let's find, there we go. And so then we have this here. All right, we're starting to make progress with our hydrogen fuel tank. And then we have a couple more components here. And yep, that's how they're supposed to go on. So like so. And we have another one that will go on like so. This is our progress on the fuel tank thus far. Once again, I'm not nearly as fast as a lot of the rest of you are. That's definitely the case. And let's see. So then we're getting down to there. Let's see. All right. And we've already completed that side. Excellent. So I'm not behind. All right. So we've got this done. Now, put this aside. And we have some more components to put together. This. And let's see. This. All right, and then we've got this. Again, this is still part of the fuel tank piece. Again, we flip this over, and then we add this and this. All right, we should have another curved piece here. That is what it calls for. So there should be one more of these. Seriously, is that? I can't imagine that that's the case. We have a curved piece here, but it's the wrong color, and that doesn't make sense. It's too bright. There should be one more of these dark orange curved pieces, and I know nothing's fallen on the ground. That's, of course, every Lego builder's nightmare. Let's go ahead and see if it ended up. Aha, there we go. I found it. All right, so we got that and that. So here we are. And then we need to, now it calls for these brighter curved components. One of these. And there should be one more. Yes, indeed. One of these. And each of those gets attached to something that seems to have a bit of a catch, something that's going to slide in, a bit of a slot, looks like something like that. So that goes like so. And then we have to, let's see, we've got those. Now we have two curved white bits. Like, let's see, hold on. Like so. And one more. There we go. And like so. All right. So this is this particular component and how it's starting to take shape. For some reason, we have a darker orange than a bright orange and then a white. Not exactly sure as to why that's the case, but that's what we got going on right now. Now, just so you know, here in just a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit about SLS and why it's continuing to be a rocket that continues to be in. See, what is it? You're really putting Scott Manley in the in the shade with this one. Oh well, we'll see. So okay, let's go ahead and talk about. Let's talk a little bit about SLS. Producer, we have a slide showing all the different locations in the country. Go ahead, please. Sure. All right. Producer. Okay, so yeah, producer not quite ready to go ahead and start putting those up. So I will wait until producer's prepared for that. Our hardworking, unappreciated producer. All right, so let's go ahead and continue with the assembly process. Let's see. So what's there? Somehow I think got that. There's right. So what are these pieces? That's interesting. Okay, so this. Boy, I hope I have a page number for you. Just a moment, and I'll see if I can find it real quick. All right. And I can also just give you. Let's see here. Page number 3. No, 4. I'm sorry. I think it's 4. Go ahead and bring up number 4. No, number 4 shows a space launch system made in the USA, so I guess it must be something else. It seems to be numbered 4 here, but and then it shows a map of the US. That's the one? Okay. Yeah, just go ahead. Sure, no problem. Map of the US, and then well, just the map of the US, the one with the slide with the map of the US, and then it's got 3 rockets underneath it. It's got the space launch system underneath it. Okay, great. Yeah, by all means, go ahead. All right. So yeah, as you can see here, this is the big reason as to why SLS is going to be continuing as a project for a long time. It may be a reason that none of us like, but at the same time, everything in as far as government projects are concerned in the US is based on jobs and based on how many different states in the US are supported by those jobs. 28,000 jobs are supported by the SLS project. More than 1,000 or 1,100, I'm sorry, supplier companies in 45 states with $5.5 billion worth of economic impact. That kind of fades in comparison to the amount of tax money that's being invested. If it only puts out $5.5 billion worth of economic impact, man, we spent $20 billion to get $5.5 billion worth of economic impact. Not too great in that regard. And by the way, these are slides that are put out by the Boeing Corporation as they try to demonstrate to everybody why SLS is such a great rocket, even though nobody is ordering it for anything. And then we can see the different companies that are supporting the different components. For example, the early SLS has the Boeing. Go back to, if you please, producer, to the previous slide that you just had. Thank you. The ICPS is supported by Boeing and ULA. ULA primarily actually built the ICPS. Then you have Teledyne Brown Engineering, which did the launch vehicle stage adapter. Then you have the Launch Abort System, which is made by Lockheed Martin, and Orion, of course, which is made by Lockheed Martin. The Universal Stage Adapter, or USA, is being built by Dynetics in Huntsville, Alabama. And yeah, so I've seen that under construction, by the way. So that's more jobs. Once again, you have Northrop Grumman providing the SRBs. You have Aerojet Rocketdyne providing the RL-25 engines. And then later on, you're going to have a cargo fairing being developed by Dynetics, RL-10 engines, 4 of them per advanced exploration upper stage. Those are being built by Aerojet Rocketdyne. Again, the new SRBs, expanded SRBs, with more propellant, more thrust, etc., from Northrop Grumman, and then of course more RS-25 engines being built by Aerojet Rocketdyne. All of which, by the way, are insanely expensive and overpriced compared to what these things usually cost from other companies. But at the same time, this is the sort of project that is going to continue to be supported by American politicians. You know. Oh, and now we need to connect it. Ha 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 ho. There we are. So now this entire piece of the hydrogen tank is completed. Nice. All right, so now we need to continue. There's still more components out of this particular bag that need to be worked on. Step 447. All right, so let's go ahead and continue our assembly process. So we got this, then we have one of these red ones and one of the yellow ones in this particular component. And then let's see, it looks like, yeah, we have, yeah, let's make sure that we're doing this right. Yep, put these little gray ones on top. And then we have 4 of these suckers, and they need to go in like so. And like so. And like thus. And nope. Nope. We need one more, doggone it. Where are you hiding? Let's see. Up, there we go. And thus, and this. All right. So that's done. And now we need to put in, let's see, let's make sure that this is going in right. Okay. Yep. So we have 2 more of these little gray pieces, like so, and like so. And then we have 1 central component here, like so. And then it looks like, yeah, that's as far as we go there. And then we have what appears to be some pieces that are going to attach. I'm guessing that these little hooks, whatever you want to call them, are going to fit into the mobile launch tower. I'm just making a guess, but I'm thinking that that's what they're for. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, the mobile launch tower consumes about the first 430 steps of this build, and I wasn't going to bore you with the assembly of the mobile launch tower. I was just going to move straight on to the rocket. Okay, so there is one, just to make sure. Yep, there it is, hiding underneath the guidebook. Oh, almost lost it, but not quite. There we go. And we'll go ahead and put that in there. There we are. Yes, Kind Wen, thank you so much for your support. I'm glad to see you again. Your choice. We wish NASA get $100 billion every year, split the contractors as government gets more choices. You know what? I'm fine with NASA getting $100 billion a year. I think that would be if NASA did get $100 billion a year, it still wouldn't be as much as they used to get during the Apollo era. And look at what NASA accomplished with that kind of funding during the Apollo era. I actually feel that that probably would be a good thing. And yeah, would there be waste? Would there be corruption? Would there be stupidity in there? Yeah, hell yeah. But you know what? Do you know how many billions of dollars get flushed down the tubes with other pork barrel projects in this country, or in the United States, or in the UK for that matter, where I currently am? There are lots of government waste. And you know what? I think I'd rather have government waste with an agency like NASA than to spend our money on something else. So apparently, there's been some waste in the British government, in that equates to an entire SLS launch. So Britain actually, if Britain has been wasting that much money, Britain does have the money for their own big time space program. If they can waste it on other things. All right, so we've just added 4 more little pieces, little components to this thing, which I'm not sure what it is yet, but that's the fun of putting together Lego kits, is you never know what it's going to turn into. All right, so now we have two of these little doodads, which go up here. Oh yeah, believe me, I am going to build that mobile launch tower. It's just with 430 some odd steps, I wouldn't even finish the mobile launch tower tonight. And I want you guys to see a rocket tonight, not a mobile launch tower, or at least do my damnedest for you guys to see a rocket. So that's that in the course of this marathon. All right, so let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Don't want to skip ahead here. All right, we've got this, and we've just added these pieces. Now we need to add, all right, we need to add this component to the top, it looks like. Yep. So this goes here. All right. And then we need to put, all right, we've got a couple of these dark gray components. They go here and here. I'll tell you, we think that building these things are difficult. I can't even imagine the difficulty that goes into making these things, and also to make instruction booklets that make sense. You know, it just kind of blows my mind. Okay, so we got that on there. And that went on the blue, right? Okay, that's good. I constantly am double checking myself, because 9 times out of 10, I will screw something up and then I have to go pry these things apart. There. This piece here. So there we go. We're getting there. Oh, look. How about that? We've got another assembly process. Awesome. There's the mobile launch tower. Where is that? Yeah, there we go. How about that? There's the mobile launch tower. Isn't that cool? Okay, so that's what we're looking forward to in the long run. Let's see, so we've got all that, and then we need to put one of these big black pieces on top here. And then need to, let's see, I need to go here. All right, make sure we're putting them lengthwise, like so, and like so. All right, and then there are yellow pieces. Go on here, right, like this. Yep, okay, like this, and this, right? And then we need to add a little white piece to the top, like so. Oh ho, and now it goes on to the fuel tank. Now we need to make sure we do this right here. All right, there we go. Yeah, I see how it seems to go in. So let's see the black side. Yep, the black side faces down towards the bright orange and white components, and then this just kind of goes through, supposedly. Yep, sure enough. And then we just attach it. How about that? Okay, so here is our progress thus far on the orange fuel tank. And then as you can see here, yeah, I'm pretty certain that we're going to have these hooking on to the mobile launch tower in the long run. That's my guess anyway. So all of that is now completed. So we need to move on to the next step. In the meantime, I would also like to go ahead and for those of you who have either joined on Patreon, or for those of you who are considering joining on Patreon, I decided to do a little bit of shopping today. Let me you can get 2 bags of chips, or crisps, as we call them over here. And these 2 bags of chips, that cost the same as a 1-month subscription on my Patreon channel, which now includes another exclusive video that I just released today. But then if you eat these crisps, you're likely to get a bit overweight. So maybe you don't want to do that. Join Angry Astronaut's Patreon channel so you don't get overweight. Now, let's say instead, you could get this bag of oranges, nectarines, whatever you want to call them, these small oranges. This also costs the same as a 1-month subscription on my Patreon channel. Now, of course, these are lovely, and I strongly recommend that you eat this. But then again, there's only, 7 of them in here. So it'll last you for maybe 7 days or something. It's certainly not going to last you a month. And then after these oranges have run out, then what happens? Well, for the rest of the month, you have no intake of vitamin C and you get scurvy. So become part of the Angry Astronaut Patreon channel so you don't get scurvy. Now, we have one more item, but I'm going to save that for a little bit later on. Another item that's actually a bit more expensive, costs the same as a 1-month membership on the Crew Dragon level of the Patreon channel. But in the meantime, let's get back on to the Lego build. Yes, thank you for the reminder. Producer says put the camera back down, damn it. Tired of looking at your face anyway. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So we have these little components which go together here. Right. And now we have bunk. And we have these components. That. And thus, and this. All right. Now, apparently, we got to do that again, except in a way that all of them interlock. So, like so. And like so. And then this one. Don't Lego bricks fit together with just a satisfying sound? They're just lovely. And let's see. The little imitators, the other non-Lego brands, they just don't have that same satisfying click. There's something just magnificently built about Lego. Okay. So we got all of this. Now, for some reason, we've put all this together. Now let's find out why. Let's flip it over. And we have, have a gray component here. Let's make sure that we're doing this right. Yeah, we have a gray component here. Another one on the opposite side. And then we have 2 longer gray pieces, one here and one like so. And I got all that. And now I need to put a little black piece on the top, like so. And let's see. Okay. And then we need one gray piece that goes like so. We're getting there. Okay, come on. Sometimes these things don't always fit. All right. And there we go. There's our other little flat gray piece. Build SLS faster than NASA for a fraction of the price. That's probably true. I would say no matter how incompetent I can be at Lego construction. Yeah, that's probably true. Okay, so we got this. Now we need to add some yellow components like so. And let's see, that's step 467, 468. All we do is another thing about these instruction manuals is they really do their best to try to make you feel like you're actually getting somewhere. Each step is so quick that you're like, oh boy, I'm zooming through this. But of course, what you're failing to realize is that there's like 1,000 steps. So no matter how quickly it may seem you're getting these things done, you're really not. Okay, so we got this. Now we need to put a little gray piece on top like so. And then we have one of these apparently. Let's see how this fits. Fits to where these little gaps go on the corners apparently, or at least that appears to be the case. And let's have a look at this. Let's make sure that that's the way we're supposed to do it. These little pieces always confuse me. Wait. Aha! There we are. Okay, so we got that. Now, next up, we need to put a little flat gray piece up here. There we go. So we're good there. Aha! And guess what we are making here, guys? We are making the base of the combined fuel tank and main engines for the for SLS. And so what we need to do is we need to, okay, this is going to be a little complicated. All right, we need to take, this is where the RS-25s go. So this is the base of the primary stage, which of course includes the fuel tank. So that is supposedly an RS-25 engine. And SLS, of course, has 4 of these. One RS-25. Okay, let's go ahead and now, all of you may not know this. The RS-25 engines that are currently being used by SLS on the next 4 anyway are previously used RS-25 engines from the Space Shuttle program. All of these engines, or most of them anyway, contain at least a few components from the engines that flew on the first ever space shuttle in 1981 on the Space Shuttle Columbia. And obviously, since the Columbia was destroyed later on, you can make the guess that everything was interchangeable and a lot of parts were shared, components were shared, etc., over the years of the space program. But yeah, just about all of the components. There you are. There's another RS-25. There's at least a few components from every engine that were also used on the very first flight of Columbia. Once again, demonstrating the incredible level of reliability that these engines actually have. They were used over and over and over and over again and never experienced a single failure. The only propulsion system failure that the shuttle ever went through was, of course, the solid rocket booster problem that led to the destruction of the Challenger, that tragic event. And you know something, I'm pretty sure I've done something wrong here because they are not at the same level. Yep, I'm pretty sure I put them in wrong. See, I was busy talking to you guys, and then I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't right. So I think I put, they seem to have a different length. Let's check it. Yeah, I see what I did wrong. Okay, well, that's easily fixed, I think. Let's go ahead and let's just make sure that this is right. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So that one's right. That one's right. That one is not right. Go ahead and yank that out. I knew I was going to mess something up at some point. I got that. And then I'm pretty sure that one also is not, or is it? No, that looks good. Let's go ahead and see if they're equal now. I knew that was going to happen at some point too. Okay, let me get this RS-25. Fortunately, I don't. Yes, it's in the void. Nope. All right, so we had a bit of a hiccup there, but now, yeah, get a bit of Lego in your foot in the dead of night. Still don't like how these are fitting in. But you know what? I'm going to figure that out later on because those can be rectified later on if need be. So we got the 4 RS-25s in place, and yeah, given how that thing's wobbling, obviously one of those engines is not in exactly right, but that's fine. We'll deal with that a little bit later on. All right. RS-25s are at least in, kinda. So we can move on to the next step. All right, so let's see here. Yes, and now this is just, it looks like we're just going to be putting this in. Yeah. Let me see. Okay. So this will have this facing like so, right? Is that right? That doesn't look right. No. We've got to have all of these facing in the correct direction. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is going to take some thought to make sure that we do this correctly. Aha. Yes or no? Oh, like so. If it's like that, and those components are like that. Yeah, how about that? Okay, there we go. So we have the core stage, RS-25s, and it's orange. So we're getting there. And yeah, oh, right. This is a clip actually. Yeah, it's not to the mobile launch tower. It's actually for the solid rocket boosters. I don't know why that didn't occur to me, but there we go. So we are good. All right. So we have a little bit more to put together here. Let's go ahead and put this on. This on, and this on, and this on. And then this component in like so. And then apparently we just insert this right off the bat. So where does it go? Looks like it's going towards the top. Yep. So you have another piece of the core stage going in. Make sure that this no, hold on. Wait. Let's see here. Nope. Let's see. Okay, yeah. This bit of the core stage. Make sure that we're doing this right. Trying to fit in these big pieces, that's when I always get nervous. I feel like I'm going to screw something up with the installation. There we go. All right. Yep. So another piece of the core stage now installed. We're actually making progress. How about that? All right. Let's go ahead and bring up the next slide. Let's go ahead, since we are now moving on to apparently a whole nother bag. So Yes, go ahead and move to the next. The next one should just be in order. Here's the next bag. All right. So this is one of the reasons that I think SLS may hang around for a little while. More than 42 metric tons to translunar injection orbit, or TLI. And that's with the exploration upper stage with for the RL-10 rocket, or RL-10 engines rather. The reason why I think that this is going to, one of the reasons why SLS may hang around for a while, is because I think it's going to take some time, even after Starship gets to the point to where refueling becomes relatively practical. I think it's going to be a while before people are really comfortable with the idea of, yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and do a mission to the moon. But, keep in mind, we've got 10 refueling launches before we can send anything to the moon. I'm not sure if NASA's always going to want to do all that refueling before sending something to the moon. If they need to send another human rated mission, for example, it's just going to be a lot easier and a lot, in their minds, a lot safer, I think, on a human rated spacecraft that has one shot. You launch it and you bring it back just like you used to with Saturn V. I think that it may take a little while before NASA is going to be comfortable enough with that whole refueling process to embrace everything they do, having that much refueling involved. Can we go ahead and move on to the next slide, actually? Now, this is Boeing exaggeration. Okay, this is Boeing nonsense and their own version of reality. But they're saying that SLS is going to be able to deliver a much larger payload volume to deep space than any other rocket. That is actually true if you're talking about a rocket that isn't refueled. And look at the difference between the fairing size of the Block 2. Look at how massive that thing is compared to the current Block 1 SLSs that are currently being launched. The way that they're going to be able to get that much more payload out of there is, number one, they're going to have bigger solid rocket boosters, which are currently being worked on and tested, actually, these new modified solid rocket boosters. And also, they're going to have the 4 RL-10 engines on the exploration upper stage instead of just a single engine with the ICPS. Go ahead and move to the next slide real quick. I'm sorry, you can skip to the next one. So once again, the Orion is, I think, going to be a spacecraft that's going to be carrying crew to the moon for a considerable period of time. And the Orion is, again, you're just talking about simplicity here. You can put the Orion and actually a substantial amount of payload co-manifested with the Orion in the later versions of SLS, all in the same launch. And I just think that NASA, when it comes to delivering crew straight to the moon, that's what they're going to be more comfortable with. I'm not saying that it's going to go that way forever. I'm just saying that for a while, that I think NASA is going to go with what they know. Thank you so much, 1, 2, or 12, for the 20 quid. Really appreciate that help. It makes a big difference to me. By the way, for those of you who have joined us late, we're still in the process of trying to raise some funds for our Saxavord journey so that we can cover the first ever vertical launch, successful vertical launch anyway, to orbit from Europe, from Western Europe. Thus far, there's only been a couple of actual attempts, one from the Spanish, the PLD Miura 1, although the Miura 1 is a small sounding rocket compared to RFA-1. RFA-1 is a much bigger rocket with quadruple the payload of the Electron, the Rocket Lab Electron. Bear with me for just one moment. I'm going to check a couple do a little bit more house cleaning here, and then we'll move on. Aha! I knew it. I knew it. You guys are so awesome. I really appreciate it. We have a brand new Patreon member called Starch Face, $7.50 Canadian. Thank you so much. Boy, I'll tell you, that Patreon support, it makes a huge difference just because Patreon takes a much smaller percentage than YouTube does. So really do appreciate that support. It makes, as I say, it makes an enormous difference. And by the way, we are adding new exclusive content to the Patreon channel all the time. So really, really appreciate that. Okay. So that's good news. We're heading in the right direction. By the way, if you want to, I'm sorry, go ahead. Excellent. So once again, if it's something that you would like to contribute to and become part of this of the Patreon channel, it's all in the description. It's a very easy thing to do. Okay, let's go ahead and keep on going. Yes, Rodney, thank you. Oh wow, that came in while I wasn't looking. Rodney, $20 New Zealand. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. You're awesome. Thanks so much, everybody, for the support that's just come in. Makes a big difference. All right, so let's go ahead and continue with our work. We are now on bag 23. Bag 23. Bag 23. And I'm just trying to be careful about this so I don't send the pieces scattering all over the place, opening this too violently. There we go. Once again, for those of you joining us late, we've been working on the core stage of SLS, and we've got the RS-25 engines in there. So it is starting to take shape. All right, let's go ahead and move on to, let's see, got a black one here. Oh, let's go ahead and take the camera back down. I actually remembered to do that without the help of producer this time. How about that? Okay, so I need to install a couple of these little yellow pieces, like so and like so. Then we need some little gray ones. Let's see what they look like. Sure, yeah, gray ones. We're gonna have to open up another little bag there too, apparently. Okay, gray one here. We got another gray one somewhere. There we go. Okay. So that right. And then this goes like so. And then we got a gray. So, all right. Like so. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So this goes like that. Dunk. And let's see. Now, let's go ahead and open up this little bag here just because I'm pretty sure we're going to start getting components. The Orion capsule is going to be a while, unfortunately. Oh, thank you, Kai Nguyen. Really appreciate that. Wish our reality was more for all mankind. Yes, indeed. Once again, guys, I know I'm sorry I keep plugging the Patreon channel, but I just did a video for the Patreon channel that's about that, about how the nuclear engines that we were working on in the 1950s and 1960s would have essentially created a for all mankind future. So keep that in mind because we are adding new exclusive content to that channel in addition to the content I put on the regular channel. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm doing something wrong. At least I caught myself there. Okay, got that. All right, so what we need to do first is we've got some of these little brown ones. That's right. And then that, hold on, let's make sure that that's correct. So yeah, that's what we did wrong. Okay. So that goes like that, and that goes like that. And then we put that on top like so. And then we do the same thing. Let's see here. I don't know how much Russian is actually spoken in. Hang on. Wait a minute. God, I keep catching myself doing things incorrectly. Let's see. Yep, I see what I did wrong. Like I say, at least I'm catching myself on these things before I get too far along in the process. Okay. Sure. We have apparently, yes, these little suckers need to get added to, so it's actually 2 brown pieces that go like so, and then you put these gray pieces on like so, and then those gray pieces go like so. Alan, thank you so much for the 20 quid. Really do appreciate it. And yes, indeed, you will get good coverage of that first UK vertical launch as long as we can get there, because we have a Starlink terminal now. We've got good camera equipment. As long as I can get my producer there with me, then we can definitely do it. By the way, the total budget that we're going to need in order to accomplish this is about £1,000, about $1,200 overall, to be raised between now and then in order to get both of us up there and all of our expenses. It's really not bad for 2 people traveling on a traveling expedition, but in any event, not saying we need to raise all that money right now. I'm just saying that we do have a long-term goal to accomplish that in order to cover this first ever commercial vertical launch from Western Europe, at least one that has a chance of reaching orbit, because the Mura 1 was not an orbital rocket. Not to take anything away from the Spanish, because they did accomplish something very impressive, but nevertheless, it's not quite the same thing. Okay. So now we've got, let's see here, make sure that, boy, I'll tell you, these little brown pieces, they're odd. Need to make sure that we do these exactly right, because there's a bunch of them that look different. They're all very distinctive. So I need to make sure that we get the right one, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing right now. Okay. Let's go ahead and look. No. All right, we are missing a brown piece. I'm sure it's here somewhere, because every time I have thought that, oh, doggone it, they didn't put the right component in, or they missed one, or whatever, it's not the case. Lego doesn't make mistakes. There we go. Okay, so we got this, goes on this, and then we, let's see. And this will be very straightforward. And then we put that on there. One more gray piece. Let's see. There we go. There it is. One goes like that. And then like so. Ha-ha. All right. So there we are so far with that component. Now we need to add this piece on the center here, and then on the end we have a couple more little hooks. I suspect these are going to be for the other SRB. Maybe, though, I'm not sure. No, because actually, yeah, I'm sorry, this is for both SRBs, and that's the way the last component was too. All right, so aha, and that. Okay, there we are. Okay, now let's move on to step 81. And there we're going to be adding 5 little blue pieces and 2 gray pieces. All right, so we go 1, let's see, 2, 3, and let's see, these little blue ones, there's another one, 4, and then number 5, aha, 5. And then we have 2 gray ones. Yep, here they are. 1 and 2. Aha. All right, so here is our progress thus far. And now, oops, we have another, oh yeah, we have another gray piece. Let's see, where's that one? Oh, there we go, a dark gray piece that goes like so. All right, so we're here. And then we have what appears to be, yes, we have 2 of these black pieces, these flat black ones that are going to go one on top of the other, like so. All right, so here we are thus far. Progress that we made. We're coming along just fine. And now we need to, let's see, we got 2 yellow pieces and they face out towards the sides that are going to be connecting to the solid rocket boosters. Like so. While we're talking about solid rocket boosters, I suppose it might be a good time to actually bring up what happened with Challenger, for those of you who are not necessarily familiar. Solid rocket boosters had these little things called O-rings, these seals that prevented the fuel from leaking from the solid rocket boosters. And these seals became brittle, they became fragile when subjected to very cold temperatures. And by very cold, we're talking, maybe a little bit below freezing, 20 something degrees Fahrenheit, maybe -4, -5 degrees Celsius, something like that. And so, but if it's even substantially warmer than that, like say 10 to 5 degrees Celsius, let's say, still they were vulnerable. On the morning of the Challenger flight, the temperatures were so low that the engineers at Morton Thiokol were convinced. Yeah. Well, we're not gonna go ahead and show you any footage from the actual launch. I've never actually shown the footage from the Challenger disaster on my channel. I just always felt there's people alive who had family members on board, that sort of thing. So, in any event, and plus all of us have seen it many, many times. So in any event, what happened is the engineers at Morton Thiokol, all of them without exception, called up NASA and together all said don't launch unanimously. And it's a little horrifying to think that you had, and by the way, and just so you know, speaking of solid rocket boosters and all that, we need to attach this component. Let's make sure that we're doing it right. Looks like it. Yeah, that looks right. All right. That's our other link point to the solid rocket boosters installed. How about that? So even though the Morton Thiokol engineers all insisted that Challenger should not launch, that those O-rings would be too brittle, that they would break apart during the flight, and the consequences would be utterly disastrous. Even though they all said that, NASA management, under significant pressure from the government to launch, because they had canceled and delayed launches with Challenger so many times, and there was such a demand to get a quicker launch cadence out of the shuttle, that they launched anyway, thinking that it wasn't much of a risk. The Morton Thiokol engineers thought for sure that the shuttle was going to explode just as it cleared the tower. That's what they thought was going to happen. Fortunately, by an incredible stroke of luck, as the super cooled solid rocket fuel escaped from the booster, it froze and formed a solid plug that actually survived for approximately 73, 74 seconds. I forget how many seconds it was before the launch was, before the shuttle exploded, which gave Challenger a considerable amount of time to gain altitude and to go downrange before it blew up. Can you imagine the level of cataclysm that would have occurred if Challenger had exploded just a couple hundred meters over the pad? An airburst explosion that close to all the observers. It would have been horrific. So thank God that didn't happen. I'm sorry, go ahead, producer. For Morton Thiokol, there were 5 engineers. Now, how many engineers were there at Morton Thiokol that said go? Does it spell that out? Because I mean, engineers, sure, there could have been other engineers from other divisions of the project, who were responsible for other things from the shuttle, who said go. Right. Were there 50, and those were at Morton Thiokol, is that correct? All right, that's interesting. According to the testimony of the Morton Thiokol, the guy who was in charge of the Morton Thiokol engineering group, who actually had to sign off on going or not going, or he actually refused to sign it, and he continues to say to this day that it was the smartest thing that he ever did. So right. A pressure to do something because it was the Krista McAuliffe thing that had lots of public attention as well. Many reasons, but regardless of what the reasons might have been, there was very strong opposition. So the 53 engineers at Morton Thiokol, only 5 said don't go. Huh? Yeah, that's very much in contrast to what the Morton Thiokol bigwig that has testified on that matter said. But in any event, like I say, everybody's got their own memory of what happened on that horrible day. Okay, so we have here and here. All right, so we have a new component we're working on at the moment. And then we have this one here and this one here. Okay, and then we have this and this. So there we are there. All right, let's continue with the process. Hold on, let me look at this. Oops, don't like how that looks. Yep, it's one of the bright orange ones, but that's okay. All I have to do is do that and do that. Haha. And then I can go ahead and put the bright orange ones on. Okay, bright orange here. And bright orange here. And like so. And like so. Okay, so we got that. We got this, like so. Yes, like so. And like so. And like so. Haha. Yeah, so we're like this. And then we have more bright orange ones going. I'm curious as to why we have a difference in color on these orange components, but it probably just makes it easier to assemble. Ah, stage rings. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that, and then that. There. And then, okay. I'm looking here just to make sure. Looks like, okay, yeah, I see what we got here. Then we have these longer pieces. And we're going to be attaching them with a couple more of these orange components like so. And like so. And like thus. And like this. Aha. Okay. 492. Okay, so this is the progress there. Looks like we're going to be doing another attachment. Oh, sure enough. Let's have a look here though. No, but there's still a couple other things that need to go in before we get to that point. We got those, and then let's make sure. Yep, we got these pieces over here. No, it's going to go like this. And then another one of these little sloped pieces that are going to go like so. And then we got a couple more. That. And like that. And then we got a couple more of these little curved ones. Like so. And like so. Hold on. Sure we got this. Yeah, hang on. All right. So we got that. And then there's an orange piece that goes like this. A brighter orange piece, that is. And then this component. And this component. Haha. And now I believe we're about to attach another piece of the core stage. There's the bright orange, like so, to this. I just have a bad feeling that this whole thing's going to come apart in my hands. So go ahead and scoot this stuff over and try to do it in a way that isn't going to make me pick the whole thing up. Let's look. Yeah, like that. Attach it. And haha, wow, this thing is getting so big, it's hard to even fit on the camera. Yes. Kai, wow, you are unloading some super chats tonight. Thank you so much. Wow, thank you. To be honest, it would have been way easier for SpaceX to make a three-stage since NASA calculated the math back in the 60s. It would carry more payload, unless I pay too much KSP. Yeah, maybe so. And you know what? I mean, a third stage is definitely something that needs to be considered for Starship anyway. It will really make it a lot more flexible. It will make a far more flexible solution for Starship to allow it to reach destinations in higher orbits or perhaps even the moon, that sort of thing. If it has a third stage option in a single launch rather than tons of refueling, and who knows, maybe that is what they're going to end up doing in the long run. All right, so we're looking. Yes, we're looking at those bright orange rings on the picture of the finished product. Interesting. So those different stage rings. That's cool. All right, so now we are on step 495. By the way, really appreciate everything everyone's been doing tonight. I appreciate you watching for all this time. Let's go ahead and talk about another, before we get going on another part of this, let's go to another slide real quick, please, producer. We're going to talk a little bit about, yes, again, it's talking about how the exploration upper stage has the largest payload capacity and reduced operations complexity for lowest mission risk. That's a point to be made. Definitely, it's less complicated to do a single launch as opposed to bunches of launches. Let's move to the next slide. So I think we're going to be talking about some alternative missions that SLS might be able to carry. I haven't been picked for any of that. Yep, there's the co-manifested payload launched with Orion. All that means is that Orion, as we get to later versions of SLS will be able to carry more and more cargo in addition to Orion. What this could have meant if they had gone with like a Dynetics Alpaca lander is they could have carried the lander for a moon mission along with Orion, to where the only extra launch that would have been required is one rocket for refueling for the Alpaca lander. That's it. And then after that, you could have completed the entire mission in only 2 launches instead of perhaps 11. That's of course a later version of SLS, not the one Sam. Now move to the next slide, please. I'm sorry. There's a paper. Apparently yes. A pay for to do a one-time donation instead of doing Patreon. Yes, PayPal is better because PayPal takes less of a percentage of your money than YouTube. If you want to do super chat, that's fine. It all helps, but PayPal will take a smaller percentage of your money. And thank you very much for asking. Really appreciate that. While we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick update real quick. Got a second. Oh, I'm sorry. SLS good. I just released a video about this topic, a 2033 crewed Mars flyby. This is something that SLS is actually fairly well set up for. Although what I've advocated is a competition between 2 teams, the SLS team and the Starship team. And a flyby of Mars in 2033 will also allow a flyby of Venus in the same mission. It's a very exciting once every 15-year kind of opportunity, which means it's almost going to be 2050 before that comes up again. So yes, the first crewed flyby of the red planet is something that could very easily happen. It would require a total of 3 launches of SLS. The rest of it would be commercial rockets. And the estimated budget is $17 billion. Not too bad for going to Mars, and you could split up the costs between now and 2033, making it fairly affordable. Also, a crewed landing on Mars is a possibility, utilizing the same thing. Once again, if you want to get more details on this, I have the video that I released on the topic. Move to the next slide, please. And then for missions outside of Mars, when you go further, things get more interesting. Next slide, please. The Enceladus launch, that is an interesting possibility. We've already decided to not use SLS for the Europa Clipper mission. I get it. It was a lot more expensive than using Falcon Heavy. The difference is, however, with Falcon Heavy and using multiple flybys of other planets, it's actually going to take years longer for Europa Clipper to arrive at Europa than it would have with SLS. It's unfortunate that we've had to do that kind of trade-off just because of cost considerations. The Enceladus launch is going to be even worse. If you want to take a big probe, a robust probe that really is going to be able to find life, to determine decisively whether or not there's life beneath the ice of Enceladus, you're going to need a big probe. And if you launch that big probe with a rocket like Falcon Heavy, it's going to take forever for it to cross the 1 billion miles between us and Saturn. It would take years and years less, and you'd be able to launch a much more ambitious probe if you were to send it out with SLS. And by the way, one of the reasons why the Lunar Gateway is such a tiny, tiny little space station is because, once again, NASA had to change from SLS to Falcon Heavy to deliver those components because of cost considerations. And as a result, the components, the space station modules that were required ended up being much, much smaller. It's really too bad. Now, in the long run, I think Starship will be able to do all of these things better. But I think it's going to be a while before it gets to that point. That's the only problem. And by the way, there's a diagram of the Enceladus orbiter and how it would fit in. But the SLS can send a big probe. We're talking quadruple the size of the Perseverance lander that we sent to Mars in a single launch. It's actually kind of impressive. And yes, Carl, you're right. Use Starship to do an exploration upper stage. Not a bad idea. You have to find a way to make them work together properly. But yeah, putting a third stage is definitely the way. We're going to go ahead and stop with the slides at this point, actually, and we'll continue with Titan a little bit later. And let's go ahead and continue with our build. By the way, I really appreciate everybody being here tonight. For you guys who've been hanging in here in the long run with us, really, really appreciate it. You guys are fantastic. All right, just checking one last thing before I'll tell you, my internet on my cell phone has been really annoying lately. It's been extremely unreliable, and I'm not sure what the problem is. Yeah, I'll probably take a break here in just a few minutes. I appreciate that. One of my helpful team members were asking if I might need a break. Yes, I think I probably will take advantage of a break here in just a few minutes. Yeah. Okay. Once again, I appreciate the support. Appreciate the support we've had coming in tonight. We got a PayPal donation, we have a Patreon donation, and we've had the donations we've had thus far. You guys, once again, are awesome. I appreciate this, and once again, this definitely makes a big difference towards our objective of trying to get us to Shetland. Okay, step 496, right? Hold on, I want to make sure. No, I'm sorry. We're at 495. So we're going to get After we finish 495, I think that's when I will take a break. And it'll only be for 10 minutes. Okay. You folks enjoying it? Good. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. Okay, so here's our next component, and we are already installing it on the core stage. All right. Wow. 1,059 viewers have tuned into this broadcast so far tonight. That's amazing. That blows my mind. God, you guys are awesome. All right. I'll tell you what, as I say, it will be a 10-minute break that I'm going to be taking here. That's it, just 10 minutes, and I will be back. Also, I'm going to be mentioning one more item that I found at the grocery store that costs the same as a Patreon Crew Dragon membership for my Patreon channel. It is an adult-themed joke. So any kids, I would like you to tune out for the next 20, let's say the next 15 minutes to make sure that I can get that joke in, and then we will continue with the build. See you in 10 minutes. great news, everybody. And not that I just assembled this stupid thing in a short amount of time, but we just got another 25 pounds donated for the Shetland cause from Stephen Laurie. Thank you so much. So we have raised a total of $40.74 on YouTube alone. And then if we factor in also the contribution of our new Patreon supporter tonight, and then we throw in all of the additional super chats, we're well over $100 right now. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much. Once again, this is all to support the coverage, our travels to the Shetland Islands, where we are going to be covering the launch of the RFA-1 rocket, which is going to be pretty amazing because we're getting VIP treatment once we get up there. The spaceport is going to have us there as their guests. We're going to get really good coverage, really good filming positions. Exclusive access. And I spent a long time building this, guys. I went up to Saxavord, as many of you remember, when they were still in the early construction period of their operations, and really got to know everybody. Awesome people up there, and I'll tell you, they are coming through for us big time now and giving us access to this launch. It's going to be a lot of fun. So in any event, if it's something you want to support, all the details in the description. Okay, let's continue with the bill. All right. So I was just getting started on this little component, whatever the heck it is. And install. By the way, actually, some concerns were brought up or fact checking on that Morton thiokol thing. And as you guys may know, I try to back up the things that I say. And I did some additional research, and I'll tell you, I think that the opinions about all of this vary widely depending on the whoever's telling the story. Quote, the Morton thiokol management accepted the recommendation of their engineers not to launch Challenger and sent that recommendation to NASA. NASA then asked for a reconsideration of that recommendation. The burden of proof seemed to shift. Morton thiokol was to prove that Challenger was not flight ready, apparently under the presumption that the flight would succeed otherwise. So the burden of proof was put on Morton thiokol. They had to prove that it was going to blow up, which they couldn't do. The managers at Morton thiokol caucused amongst themselves and approved the flight despite their engineers' recommendation and sometimes vehement opposition. So even though maybe the official record might show that they had the support of the engineers, according to this account, which by the way is on a website called Online Ethics, they didn't have it. I think Morton thiokol's management may have pretended that they had it. So anyway, got up to this point, and let's go ahead and we add on these great pieces right here, like so. All right, and then we need to, yes, let's go ahead and add these components here. Now I've gotten this far, although I still have no idea what this component is supposed to do. Find out here maybe in a moment. Okay, we're on step 502. Oh, geez, I forgot. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give another warning. I've got a joke coming up because of another item that I found that costs the same as a Patreon membership on my channel. I'm going to give the kids a couple of minutes to turn this off and turn it off for just a few minutes, and then we'll be done. Okay, let's add these components on 502. And here we are thus far. All right, so as I said, I went to the market today to find things that would cost the same as a month's membership on my Patreon channel. We already talked about a couple of bags of crisps. All right. So these two little bags of crisps, or chips as they're called in the United States, this would be about the same as a month's membership on my Patreon channel, but you would get a bit overweight, eating chips. And not only that, it wouldn't last you very long. So then you could get a bag of oranges instead, although this wouldn't last you very long, for just a few days. And then after that, you're out of vitamin C, and eventually you'll get scurvy. So if you don't join the Angry Astronaut Patreon channel, you will both get fat and then develop scurvy. But here's the last thing that I wanted to bring up. If, however, you get yourself healthy and with oranges and such, and lose weight, etc., then you might find yourself in a situation where you might need some condoms. And if you find yourself in that situation, 4 condoms will cost the same as an entire month's membership at the Crew Dragon level. So that means that, and these 4 condoms, they're not going to last you very long. And so once you run out, then what, right? Well, then you're taking some serious risks of getting a disease. You're not going to get a disease if you join the Angry Astronaut Patreon channel. So join my Patreon channel and you will avoid getting fat, you will avoid getting scurvy, and you will avoid getting a disease. All right. Let's move on to our next stage. All right. Go ahead and another component here. All right. And then add in another component here. Aha. All right, so that's step 503. Now we need to go to step 504, where we need to put on a couple of these little gray flat pieces, like so. Like that. Now we move on to step 505, which just requires one of these black flat pieces, like so. And then go to 506. There we go. Like this. And like so, these two, let's see, yep, like that. All right. And then like this. And wait a minute. Oh, there we go. And like thus. All right. Still don't know what it's for, but that's where we are at this point. Now let's see here. Oh, we need to turn it over. Oh, let's see. I'm not liking what I'm seeing here, because it looks like we need a black piece. See, we got those coming over. Then we got a black piece there. Are we missing a black piece? No. Okay. Oh, I see. What? Okay. We're not messed up. So we got a black piece here, like so, and then a gray flat piece, this one here, and that one goes like that. So here we are. And then we go to step 508. 508, we need to put one of these gray pieces. Let's make sure it's on the right side. Yep. Or white pieces rather, on like so. That. And then a little blue piece on top, like so. And then this component apparently is also part of the core stage. Let's go ahead and look to see how this is supposed to be installed. It's like that. No. Okay, let's look at this. All right. Like that. No, like this. No, I don't like how that's looking. Hold on. Let me look at this. See, we've got. No, wait, that can't be. Just a minute. I think I'm confusing myself. Yes, that. Okay. Yes, all right. And those will go like this, with the blue part at the top. Like so, maybe? Yeah, I think so. Looks like it to me. So, go ahead and install here. Let's make sure that we got this right. I don't like this. Let's see. It does seem right, but it doesn't seem to be fitting in properly. That just means that I'm not very coordinated. No, that's not right. Let's see. Hold on. That's going like that. Yeah. Okay. I don't like how that looks. Let's see. Let's turn it. That's like so. Is that gonna? Seems like it needs to be one further up. One piece further up. That doesn't make any sense though, does it? Because it's like that should go like that, and somehow I don't think that that's how that piece is supposed to fit in exactly. However, I've got time to make an adjustment if necessary. I don't want to spend forever mucking about with that, and especially if I happen to be wrong about my miscalculation here. So this thing is getting huge. Man, I can't even begin to fit this into the. Can't even begin to fit it into the. Jeez Louise. Okay, so the core stage, I'll tell you, this thing's enormous. Kind of nutso. All right, I think that part of that may be one peg too low, but I'm not positive about that, and I don't want to take up a ton of time trying to figure it out. So hold on, let me flip this over to see what it looks like, because make it look to where it's on my. Yeah, it does need to be one further up. I'm going to try. This is going to bother me. I need to try to, because this is wrong. I need to try to get this fixed. Come on, damn it. Oh, man, I'm going to mess this up trying to take this back off. Okay. It needs to be one further up. I know it does. Yeah, here we go. Ha-ha. All right, now I got it fixed. I hope I didn't disconnect things in the process, but I have to do a little bit of touching up. But now we have it at the proper level, so that's all right. We're good there. Okay, that's stage 509. Aha, and that's another entire bag gone. Bag 23, finito. Now we need to get bag 24, wherever the hell that might be. Bag 24. Here we go. All right. Moving on. This looks, I'm seeing lots of orange components here. I'm thinking that this one, the big orange rocket, is going to continue taking more shape. Wow. Oh my Lord, look at all that. That's insane. That's a lot of stuff. Okay, yeah. This instruction booklet makes you feel like you're making really great progress until you realize just how much you've got left. And you're like, you know what? I'm really not getting all that far. But we will do our best. We will press on tonight with this process. And I'm looking forward, by the way, in putting this on my set, because when I moved to the UK, a lot of the stuff on my set was left behind, sold, etc. So now we need to get some more doodads to put on a set. Okay, so we need one of these long pieces, and we need these little black pieces that goes on like so. Then we need another little back piece that goes on like so, apparently. And then we need a little yellow piece. Now this bag needs to come open because we're already using these tiny components. Okay, nice and gentle there. There we go. And boy, that's a lot of stuff. Oh my dear God in heaven. Okay, so we got that and that. Okay, so we're done here. And then we have one of these big dark gray pieces that apparently goes in like so. And then we have a long light gray piece that goes in like so. All right. And then we flip it over. Let's look here. All right, we got that. Let me see here. I don't like what I'm seeing. Okay, so at this end, supposedly, okay, I see what we're supposed to be doing here, I think. Yeah, got to put this component on more of these little curved orange thingies. That, and then we have a couple of these little dark gray lengths. And so that should, yep, that completes that. And then that completes that. So it's clear that we have another part of the core stage, fuel tank, whatever, taking shape. All right, step 5:15. Now we are adding one of these bright orange pieces like so. And then it's time to start putting on, let's see, we have some thin curved orange components. That's going on next. Let's have a look and see. Ah, there we go. Okay, so we go like this. And what else? Oh dear. I want to make sure that we don't start losing too many pieces underneath the rule or the instructions. Boy, I'll tell you, there's a lot of components in this bag. Lots of components. Kind of tough to keep up with all of them. And then one of these, there we go. There's another one. Okay, so we got that. Now we need to go down the line. We're just going to go down the line here with 1, 2 of these dark orange components first. 1, 2, and then, hold on, let's make sure we got that right. Yep. And then we have a bright orange one coming next, like so. And then we have 2 more dark orange ones at the end. And then another bright orange one, like so. Plop. Okay. And then we are going to, no, I have not. To answer your question, the launch tower, I didn't want to spend a tremendous amount of time online in front of a camera building that launch tower, which is immensely complicated. Instead, what I wanted to do is show you a rocket taking shape. So here we go. Now we're adding in, let's see. All right, hold on. Yeah, we got that and that. We have another one of these small ones here. And then we have a bright orange one, like so. And then we have another dark orange, like so. And then we have 2 small little sloped ones because we have something else going into place here. So we go 1 and 2 with these tiny little suckers. Make sure that we got those on right. And then we need to put in a sloped little white one, like so, that will be facing this way. And then a little orange clip facing like that. Okay, so that's what we got as far as that's concerned. And then we have another bright orange right here. All righty, so that's what we got at this point. Now what we need to do is add lengthy little piece there, and then another one of these long gray components. This core stage is really big, and so this is obviously another side of the core stage. Presumably this is going to, I think, be one of the not the quite so curved sides. Maybe the one facing up, I'm thinking, is what this is going to be as we continue to assemble this. All right. By the way, folks, really appreciate you tuning in. I know we're losing our audience, and I certainly can understand that. This is a very long process. We got nothing but orange, dark orange components going down like so. Dunk, 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 and dunk. All right, so we got those going down that way, and then we don't do the same thing. It's going to be a little different. We've got one of these little sloped ones here. Other way. Yeah, good point. Yeah, and no matter how long this is taking, it's starting going faster than ULA and Boeing and everybody else. All right, so you got that there. And let's see, so that, okay. And then apparently these little curved orange, we're interspersing these curved orange components in with these clips. That's interesting. Okay, so that, and then this, and then another connector, like so. And then we go with another orange, curved orange clip. So this is another part of the core stage taking shape. Then I'm going to go like that. And another clip. And yeah, this is all working according to, this all makes sense, as most Lego kits do. That, yep, it's all going to come together exactly right. And another one of these little slots here. And then up, and we need to make sure that we put one of these little sloped pieces right here. And then finally, we're down to that. Haha. All right, so that is our progress thus far. Now we're making this even bigger. Another lengthy gray component like so. You can see this thing is just getting longer and longer. Okay, and then another gray component, one of these big flat gray pieces here. And I have a feeling, I don't know, I'm running a psychic hotline here. I have a feeling that we're going to have lots of orange curved pieces. Yup. 6 of them, followed by 1 orange and 1 white. And there's just, oh my God. Okay. So yeah, this is a, all right. I see how this is going to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, followed by a bright orange and then a white one. Bright orange, dink, and a white curved piece like so. All right, now the other side. After I get some caffeine in me. All right. So now we got the little curved or the little sloped pieces here. Followed by yet another one of these connectors, these little, I have a feeling that maybe this is the side that connects to the solid rocket boosters, given how many of these we have. I don't know, it's just a guess, but wait a minute, that's wrong. It's got to be alternated. Gotta alternate. There and there. There. Hang on while I stretch real quick. Okay. Boy, I'll tell you, this takes a lot. It's strange. You'd think making a Lego kit wouldn't be that exhausting, but man, it takes a lot out of you after a while. Okay, there. Another sloped piece here. By the way, we're going to be bringing up another slide here shortly to discuss other things about SLS that are not as commonly talked about. So we'll bring that up in just a moment once we get this component ready to go. Let's see. No, that's not right. Let's make sure that we know what we're doing here. Yeah, we're still doing the alternating. Alternate. Another one of these little sloped pieces here. Okay. And then another clip. I'll tell you, there's a lot of these. And how far down? Okay, are we done? We're done with the clips. Okay. So now we just got one dark orange. What am I doing? Okay, followed by one bright orange. Oh, guess what? And then we still have another clip. We have another one of these little sloped pieces, white sloped pieces. And then a clip. And then a sloped white piece. Here we go. Got any of you guys from the 1970s remember a thing called a marathon bar? Marathon lasts a good long time. That's what this reminds me of. Okay, we're going to bring up a slide here. The next slide in sequence whenever you are ready to talk more about. This is a Titan lander. Now, it's, once again, we need to keep in mind none of these things will probably ever be used because NASA is not getting the funding to send an SLS rocket anywhere. But nevertheless, the SLS Block 1B can haul 4.1 metric tons to Titan. That's quadruple the size of the Perseverance lander, which means that you could put a very big lander on Titan with probably a rover, perhaps even a helicopter, a Titan helicopter, lots of different stuff. The SLS and its impressive payload capabilities and large fairing capabilities can theoretically send some very big stuff to the outer reaches of the solar system in a way that no other rocket can except for Starship. But when Starship does it, it needs lots of refueling, at least until it gets a third stage. When Starship gets a third stage, it changes things a lot. Here's the Neptune Science Orbiter. Once again, we want to send a mission to Neptune. We need to send a mission to Neptune. We've never really examined that planet and its moons Triton in any real detail. Obviously, the Voyager 2 spacecraft made a flyby, but flybys are very different than orbiters, and the SLS has the payload capability to send something like that all the way out there, and also fastest ride to interstellar discovery. I kind of think that is an overly ambitious project, but at the same time, yeah, I think if you're talking about a interstellar ship with a nuclear engine on it of some kind, and when we're talking interstellar, we're just talking outside the solar system. We're not talking about going to another star or anything like that, but it does provide those kinds of alternatives. And there are not, it can get to interstellar space in 15 years is what it's saying. So we're talking about a Kuiper belt type of explorer or something like that out to that region of space in 15 years. That is way, way faster than any other solution we currently have. The SLS, the exploration upper stage. Now that thing, it's protecting our planet from asteroids. That's a pretty unlikely scenario, but it's talking about Apophis. What if Apophis were suddenly on a collision course, or we determined that it had changed its course slightly? And once again, the trajectory of asteroids can be adjusted very easily by Newton's first law of motion. An object in motion will continue to be in motion unless acted on by another force. That other force could be an asteroid that we can't see that doesn't necessarily collide with Apophis, just gets close enough to it to where its gravity has an impact and changes its path slightly. Well, the idea is an asteroid redirection mission could be as heavy as about 20 tons. And what this is called is a gravity tractor mission. And if you do it long enough ahead of time, a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years ahead of time, all you have to do is send about 20 tons worth of mass close enough to an asteroid and then parallel its course. And the gravity, believe it or not, of that 20-ton mass will be sufficient to eventually pull the asteroid onto a different trajectory. You don't need to crash into it. You don't need a dart. You don't need a nuclear weapon. All you need is a pretty big chunk of mass and a lot of time, a couple of years worth of time. Yeah, Space Tug is another alternative. One of my team members mentioned that. Also, we're talking very big space telescopes can be deployed by the SLS as well. I mean, the bottom line is the SLS, in spite of its insanely overpriced nature, in spite of how expendable it is, that sort of thing, and in spite of how wasteful it is, it provides solutions that no other current rocket does. Now, again, Starship might be able to do it if we add a third stage onto it, but it doesn't have that yet. So until Starship actually has a third stage, SLS's capabilities are going to, at least in terms of a single launch solution to an interplanetary destination, is going to be superior. So I think that it's going to be a while before NASA decides to totally get rid of SLS. But on the other side of the equation, if nobody ever uses SLS for anything, if SLS is only ever used for Artemis missions and that's it, and nobody else buys SLS for any mission whatsoever, then the price is never going to come down because there's so few launches. That was the case with the shuttle too, by the way. If the shuttle had been used a little bit more, the cost per launch could have gone down as low as $200 million per launch. If the shuttle had actually gotten down to that price point, it might never have gone out of service. So yeah, you're looking, oh yeah, that's another solution, the space-based solar power. Keep in mind that large gigawatt scale space-based solar satellites are going to need to be in a higher orbit, either MEO or all the way in geosynchronous orbit. Something that big and that heavy, the quickest way that it gets up to that orbit is with a rocket like SLS. Once again, do I really see anybody spending $2 billion to get a great big solar satellite up to that orbit? I doubt it. We're probably going to try to find some other way of doing it. But then again, if SLS starts getting, embraced for some of these missions, the more SLS gets used, the more the price is going to come down, because the more you can amortize the development costs. And again, is that a good idea? I don't know, because there's something called the sunk cost fallacy. Just because we've invested a lot of money in a broken system doesn't mean we should keep going with it. But at the same time, it would be nice to see us get something out of this damn thing after all these years and all this money invested. Okay, we're going to continue. Honestly, guys, I'm fading. I hate to say it. I feel like I made a lot of progress, but at the same time, I really haven't. My God, this thing is unbelievable. Okay, no, I am wrong. We actually have what appears to be fuel line. Okay, so yeah, that's what this actually is. So let's go ahead and start putting this on. Okay, we got five of these apparently. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Awesome. Okay, so now we've made this kind of progress. And oh, great. Guess what? It looks like now. Yep. Like, oh, good job. Congratulations. Look at all that progress you just made. Now you need to make 2 of these things. So now we need to do the whole thing over again. But before we get to that point, we do need to put one of these suckers on here, and then one of these on here. And then we are repeating the entire process all over again. So yeah, now we now we go back. And we start again. One of these long ones. And okay. So once again, we are building the other side of the core stage. So we got that. And then we have this. Once again, guys, please keep in mind that I'm going to go ahead and turn this down again towards the components. Once again, guys, keep in mind that we are still in the process of trying to raise funds for our Saxavord trip. Doing it through Patreon or PayPal, both of which the links are in the description. Be very much appreciated. We really appreciate the support we've already gotten tonight. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And once again, we'll be bringing you exclusive coverage in terms of the quality of coverage you're going to be able to get, because we're not just going to some random location and trying to film. We're going to be there as guests of the spaceport to cover this amazing event. So it's going to be really, really cool. So looking forward to that. All right. So now we've got this. We flip it over. And what do we do at this point? Let's see. Okay, from this side, right, we have these gray, and then, yeah, okay, I see what we're supposed to do. We have these. You'd think I'd remember how to do this since I just did it, but nope, not really. Okay, like so. And then like so. And then like so. Okay. And now, let's see, you've gotten that part done. Doing 515 for the second time, but at least we kind of know what we're supposed to be doing this time. So, at least in theory. Okay, we've got a slender orange. Yeah, there we go. Tank stage thing here. Dink. And then, right, we have one of these. Dunk. And one of these. Dunk. Make sure. There we go. Okay. And then another one of these dark orange ones. Like so. And then a bright orange one. Let's see, make sure that we got that right. Yeah, like so. And then two dark orange ones. Like so. And like so. Then we have one bright orange one to finish at least this part off, like so. And then, starting back again at the top, we have, let's see, one of these thin, John, thank you. One of these slender orange curved pieces. Where the heck is it? I know it's got to be here somewhere. Don't you try to mess with me, damn it. Okay, I have a feeling maybe it's underneath the... No, that's odd. Okay. My eyes are getting tired and probably tricking me. Nope, here it is. Found it. Okay, so we got this piece. Like so. I'm at least going to try to get this damn core stage done before I wrap this up. I'm just going to show you that. And like so. Yep, we're good there. Interesting. Okay, and then we have this. Then the bright orange. Like so. And then dark orange. And then we have a little curved piece. Then one of these little white pieces that are going to go like so. Okay. And then let's see here. Got that. Then we need, it's time to start bringing these little clips for the fuel lines. Got that and that. Okay. And then we add in another orange one like so. And then got one of these lengthy suckers and then another flat gray piece like this. And now it's going to be time, I suspect, yes, to put 6 of these little curved orange ones like so. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. And the other side is a bit more complicated. One with a curved piece like that. Then a little connector there. Then another curved piece. No, wait. Is that right? No, it's not. Curved piece and a connector. Hold on. Curved piece. Nope. I know what I'm doing here. Getting ahead of myself. Okay, then this, boom. Then another curved piece. And a connector. Then another curved orange. So. Then another little curved piece. And a connector. Okay. And then another one of these orange pieces, like so. And another little curved piece. And a connector. Right? Yes. And then lastly, you got one more curved orange piece here, like so. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Okie dokie. There we go. And now it gets even longer, guys. That goes on like so. Another gray piece like so. And guess what? Even more curved orange pieces. Da, 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 da. Oh my God. Just crazy. Just crazy. All right. So let's see. On this side, we've got what appears to be 6, right? Yeah. So here we go. A 1 and a 2 and a 3. Said 3 and a 4, and a 5. Setting into 5, there we go. And 6. And after those, we have an orange and a white. Orange, bright orange that is, and a white. Where the hell's the, oh, there's the white. Okay. Then we go down the other side, except a little bit different because we have the connectors here. So first, a curved piece and a connector. By the way, I met a fellow who was responsible for was involved in the construction of the core stage for Artemis 2. In Louisiana. It's very interesting. And that he was actually saying that it was about ready to be shipped, and that was before SLS even launched. So at this point, the core stage is going to get to Cape Canaveral way before it's ready to go because of the other complications that have arisen. Also, we want to be careful about stacking. Oh, wait, shoot. Did we just do something wrong? I think we just may have done something wrong. Start talking and then, wait a minute. Let's see. No, that's right. Okay. Wait a minute. Let's see. Is that? Yeah, okay. That's right. I don't know why that didn't seem right to me for a moment, but it just didn't. So yeah, the core stage will be ready and everything can be stacked way before they think they're going to be ready to launch. And so they're going to have to be careful about stacking it too soon because especially the solid rocket boosters, you're not supposed to leave them sitting there for too long. Stacked without launching kind of puts them at risk. Unless they're made of Lego, then they're fine. Yeah. They're good to go. All right, so then we're down to our last dark orange piece here. And then we have just an orange piece, like so. And then we have one more sloped white piece. And then one last little clip. So then we have one more little curved white piece here. And then it's time to put in the fuel lines. It doesn't seem to take nearly as long to do it twice, depending on how tired you are. Sometimes it feels like it takes forever to do the same thing twice with Legos. Dink, and then dink. By the way, there's the fuel line going in here. Dunk. And dunk. And dunk. Haha, all done. And then we need to put one of these babies in like that. And then one of these like so. And now I'm a bit horrified as to what may be coming up next. Yep. I've got to put this whole thing together. Oh my God. This all has to go together now. All right. So this has just got me terrified. Okay, so this should fit just like that, I think. Yeah, that makes sense. And then like so, right? And then like so. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. I want you guys to see what I'm doing here as I try to put this rickety thing together. Oh my dear God in heaven, this thing is... Okay. So I'm trying to get one side of this rickety thing put together and not have the whole thing just disintegrate in my hands. How's that? Oh, you're right. I put the ring too high. I knew I was doing something wrong. And I know that this is going to totally disintegrate now. I try to pull it apart. Damn it. The rings. I should have known that the rings were the guide. Just seemed to fit together so good the way I was doing it. But no, it's not. But now the rings are lined up. Haha. Okay. How about that? The whole thing didn't totally disintegrate at least. Yeah, I'm going to take that as a W. Okay. Now it's up. Here we go. So, haha. If I just show you this side, it actually kind of looks like the core stage. The core stage is taking shape. Now it's time to put the other side on. By the way, thanks for catching that, producer. That fact that it was not lined up properly, because that made a big difference. Oh, geez, I'm already starting to screw this one up too. Okay, come on, baby. You can do it. All right, there we go. Yes. All right, now that, and that, and that, and that. All right, it's fitting on. It's fitting on. Yes, indeed. Ha-ha. And there, now we have something that looks like the SLS core stage. How about that, huh? Even though it's not totally finished, obviously, because we still need... Hold on. There we go. All right. Blast. Okay, come on, baby. All right. There we go. Yeah, just that on there. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Once again, another look. That's a look from it on the incomplete side and a look for it on the complete side, or relatively complete side. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Oh. Now, apparently this thing, now there's decals and such. I'm going to worry about the decals a bit later. All right. Spoiler, guys, this is going to be the end. This is going to be the last thing that I do here. And this is bag 25. Bag 24 is now finito. Then we're going to go bag 25, and we're going to be done at that point. That should complete the core stage assembly. Yeah, that's true. I've got a team member who's expressing concern for my well-being and saying that I should take a break. That's probably true. Okay, so I'm going to take 5 minutes because I really want to get this core stage done. So I'm going to take 5 minutes, and then I will be back. At the very least, I want to get this core stage completed. I really think that it'd be cool to see that. And once again, this is going to be going on the set. Again, I appreciate people tuning in. And I appreciate everybody's support. We've been getting super chats and Patreon support and PayPal. All that's in the description. That's going to get us to Saxavord, and that's going to allow us to cover a launch unlike anything you have ever seen before, simply because there's never been a launch from the British Isles before like this. So it's going to be very cool. So everybody keep that in mind, and I will see you guys in 5 minutes. I'm back for one last big push. By the way, I want to say, real quick though, I want to say thanks to yet another legend who has contributed to our efforts to get to Sachs Award, $20 Australian from Caleb Upton. So we now have had contributions in American dollars and Australian dollars and in British pounds. Absolutely fantastic. Total of $65.69 there. And if you include also the contributions on Patreon, our new Patreon member tonight, and also the super chats, we're doing good. I'd say about $130 overall. Very happy indeed. Thank you so much. And once again, if you want to support our trip to cover a very unique and amazing experience, please feel free to check out the description. Okay, bear with me for just a moment here. We're going to go ahead and bear with me. I just need to get back in the swing of things real quick. Okay. Now, by the way, thanks very much, everybody, for hanging in there with me tonight. Thanks very much for everybody's support on every level. You guys are fantastic. All right. So here we go with what I hope is the last push. Actually, this isn't going to be the last bag, though. It is obvious to me that this bag is not going to be enough to build the other side of the core stage. It seems very unlikely to me, but let's see what we can do. Okay. Step 530. We've gone through about 100 steps tonight, so quite a lot accomplished, really. Can't complain. Oh, wait a minute. Let's get the camera down. Here's my favorite soda in the world: cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper. My earbuds are giving out, unfortunately. Go ahead and switch out. Okay. All right. Looks like everything's tiring out, including my equipment. All right. So now I got to open up this little bag as well. And let's keep going. So we got this piece here, boom, like that. And then we're adding a couple of these little curved orange pieces. So obviously anything with curved orange pieces is a part of the core stage. I just suspect with what we've got here, it ain't going to be enough. Okay, then we're adding one of these little gray pieces like so. And then we've got to put sort of an off-white piece. Nope, it goes down at this end like this, apparently. Okie doke. Now we apparently interesting. Okay, we've got these little pieces here, and we start off with a sloped piece. These little orange slope pieces, and we've seen many of these at this point that are installed like that, facing towards this little ridge here. So we've only put one on currently. Interesting. And then what does it do? Does it go underneath? It seems to, right? We just install it under this orange piece like so. And then we do exactly the same thing on the other side. Another one of these little suckers and another one of these sloped pieces. And we do that. So now we have this, whatever purpose this serves. And then we install some more of these little orange sloped pieces. Obviously, as I said before, this is part of the core stage, fuel tank, etc. Just how it fits in, don't know yet, but we'll find out soon. Okay, so we got that, and that. And that little tuning fork. All right. So now, just step 535. Let's take a good look at this. Okay. So apparently we have another one of these, and then we attach another one of these curved orange pieces to secure it in place like so. And then we do the same thing on the other side. Like so. Then step 536 is just where we do the next logical thing and put all this stuff. I'm sorry, good night to whom? I apologize. Good night, Spire. Thank you very much for all of your assistance tonight. Really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. All right, that and that. And two more. And that. This, who knows, maybe this will be enough to finish off the core stage. Or a lot of it anyway. All right, so we got up to this point now. Whoops, like that. Now, let's see, what do we got coming up next? We got to take a couple of, let's see here. Interesting. All right, let's have a close look at this to make sure we're doing this right. Yeah, okay, I see what we're doing. Okay, we're going to take these and one of these. And we need to, wait a minute. Yeah. Then we install it like so. We take another, these, tell you, tons of curved orange pieces. Can't imagine how many of these Lego had to use in order to make all the SLS kits that they made. This has got to be the most common piece that they have throughout this entire set. Okay, so you got that, at least for the rocket anyway. All right, so now we've gotten this far. That was step 537. Now we need to get to step 538. All we do with 538 is install another two curved orange pieces like so. And then we got two of these smaller curved pieces that go on the side like this. Let's see here. Got it? Okay, got it. And here you are. All right. Now, all right, we made good progress there. Flip over to the next part. Okay, we've got step 539, where we take one of these white pieces and one of these suckers. No, wait. Not one of those. One of these, I believe. Yep, one of these. We just put it like that. And then, let's see, that's 539. 540, we take a black component, black piece, and put it like so. All right, so we got that. Then step 541, we flip it over, and guess what? A couple more curved orange pieces. What a shock. There we go. There we are with that. And then step 542. Interesting. Is there something? No. Okay, I see what we're doing. Taking a bright orange curved pieces, and then we are also attaching a piece that has a little ridge on it. And the completed piece looks like that. And then these, hold on, let me see that that's right. No, that doesn't seem right. Somehow I think, oh, wait a minute, I get it. No, I was wrong. It goes like that, actually. That's what these pieces look like. And then you install it like so. Then you do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and then bump, and there you go. Okay, so still making good progress. Now, apparently we have to assemble white pieces the same way. So we go like that, and like that. So we're doing a white piece that looks like this. And you put that on like so. And another white piece. Boom. Boom. Like so. Ka-chunk. All right. Now, we know what's going to happen here. Well, wait a minute. Wait. There's something wrong. What are we doing wrong here? That doesn't make any sense. 543. Finish there. No. Okay, that's right. That. And then we have a little white piece to put over it. Like so. Pop. And then apparently this is going to go on like how? I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. Let's see. Okay, we got that. Oh, wait, I see. Right, like this. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. This may actually complete the core stage. Wow. Might be enough in here to do this. Let's see. Okay, so now step 548. This and that. Okay. And then there's another one. And like that. Okay, there you go. So that's what we're doing. Step 550. Okay, we flip this over. And then I see what we're doing. We need to get, guess what? Again, running a psychic hotline here. I predict that it's going to be a curved orange piece. Oh boy. How amazing. I got it right. Okay. And then on the other side, the same thing. Okay. And then we put on another one of these ridged pieces, and then bam. Got that. All righty. Now what? Just looking at this to make sure. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. All right. So now we need to install a series of curved orange pieces. First of all, we have this thing that make the stage determination or the stage rings. And then another orange, curved orange. Another little curved orange. And then it gets a little different. We have one of these sloped orange pieces on one side, sloped orange piece on another side, and then 2, 1, and let's see, where's the second? Okay, I'm sure I've just got it hidden somewhere. Where are you? There you are. And then this is like so. Haha. All right. So we got that. Now we still need to install 2 more of the Big Shocker curved orange. One here, one here. Yeah, I think there's a reason that they call this the curved, or the curved orange, the big orange rocket. They should call it the curved orange rocket. It's the big orange rocket. Okay, so now we're gonna that and that. And then another one of these pieces that you assemble like so. And then here, so we can keep this little ridge going on the core stage there. Okay, now what? All right, now we have one of these. I'll tell you, they have a lot of these. Curve stage and then little ridge that you add on to it. Like that. And you do the same thing on the opposite side. Our viewers are fading. And I understand why. This has been a long journey, but I'm really glad that you guys have tuned in for as long as you have. Okay. And then this one, and then we got to do that again. So one of these, and boom, and boom, and boom and boom. All righty, so we're keeping that ridge going down the side. Just got a little bit more here. Let's find out. I have a feeling that that's going to connect to here. Let's check. Oh my God. I think we're actually about ready to complete the core stage. Let's see. No, we got those 2. 554. Let's have a look at this. Is that okay? And 2 more orange pieces go here. Is that right? No, 2 more orange pieces with a ridge. That. And I have a feeling, actually, I missed a part where I just did that wrong. Blast. If it seems like I'm fading, you're right. This is really taking a lot out of me. I'm finally starting to get a bit exhausted. All right, just about done here. Seems strange that assembling a Lego kit would be exhausting, but it is. And like that. And now we have an open gap, so we need to figure out how this is going to work. But I have a feeling, all right, we're going to try, see if this makes sense. Got this, yeah, all those match. Come on, baby. Yes. Right. Then this should fit just like this. Oh my God, is this actually going to work? Let's see. Or am I hoping for too much? Okay. About to get to the point where SLS core stage actually complete. And just like that, we have the SLS core stage, hydrogen fuel tanks, and the 4 RS-25 engines. How about that? So I do believe that the next step, the next step is the solid rocket boosters, which we're not going to get into tonight, unfortunately. I would have liked to have done that, but you know what? I feel a great sense of accomplishment having gotten through the core stage at least. How do you guys feel about doing a part 2? How do you feel about joining me for another live stream, and let's see if we can finish this rocket? Maybe even get into the mobile launch tower as well. And to Nim likes the idea of a part 2. Thanks very much. Do it. Yep. Looks like, yeah, let's see. Can we make it a poll, ASN? Pretty sure we're going to get a lot of support for this. Of the 47 people who have hung in here and watched it all this time, I think they may want that. Build some of it in advance. Yeah, I already have some of the mobile launch tower built. I built some of the mobile launch tower before I started tonight. But I'd kind of like to build the solid rocket boosters with all of you guys. That might be kind of fun. Who's going to say no? I mean, there's no downside. Good point. All right, guys, we'll have a part 2. I'll let you know when it's going to be coming up. Probably pretty soon, because I want to get this rocket done. I definitely want to have it on my set because my set's very sparse right now. It'd be great to have more stuff. So yeah, by all means, let's go ahead and do a part 2. I'll let you know when it's going to be scheduled for. Once again, really appreciate your support tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all these legendary folks who contributed either through super chats or on PayPal, Patreon, etc. You guys are making a huge difference in our ability to get to Saxavord and filming this amazing launch coming up soon. As guests of the Saxavord spaceport, I mean, they are really rolling out the red carpet for us. So looking forward to it. So, folks, once again, thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, stay angry about space.